Sangma la samje dash de lu jugu.
Dash delay to everyone.
Ngöndro peche de nyamdo songro nang.
Follow me in chanting the wonder text.
Guru Pema Pao Gandro Zodan Jeba Dam Kukarda Zonda Ge Nga Lo Tuji Gomba Rekba Rang Jardi Ngo Tala De Tadil Je Tadan Je De Zilj Dunje Namgaran Jembara Enjuron Jelama Gandro Nam Ji Medala Endo Je Du Dada Gam Som Zem Je Nam Sem No Man Den Je Ngan Do Nam Tezenen Jul Be Na Waran Jam Mandro Join Jur Be Zem Je Porare Don Be Nal Jo Ne Shenga Je Ne Zo Je Be Palama Je Jo Ne Lunga Yen Da Nyo Me Ne Dende Zam Go Be Den La Ba Le Jawa De Ji Dra La Jo Ne Ru Ju Nyam Ge Jen De Ro Taran Jen De Nyen Ro Ba Yi Tie La Ma Gan De Zo Nam Ji Me Da Ge Go Zom Jen Ji Lo Me Da Ge Go Zom Jen Ji Lo Me Da Ge Go Zom Jen Ji Lo La So Tene De Ja La Rung Lung Ro Sal Ko Ba Yin Du Rung Gu Lo Nyam Do Sa Lo Na Shu Yin.
Now is the exhalation of the still breath. Then, so please follow me in doing the ninefold exhalations of the still breath.
La So Ninde Ja La Sol Dem Dan Chelap Shue Di Indu So So Chizu Do Kon Be Nama Guru Rumba Chala Ngo Sa Lamba Yimba Tan De La Sem Deba No Memba Tse Chik Be Tonya So Adap Sol Dem Shue So De Lo Do Namba Chi Tun De Chen Che Ma Lo Ba Kyula Che War Sho San Sol Dem Che Yimba Re Danda Ninde Ja La Lame Ngodrum Nang Song Chilap Nang Song Ten Ne Lame Ko Song To Som Da Rani Ji Lunga Ye Som Yer Me Dun Jor Song Sam 대제라는 로도 남에 히 제도도 레메냠도 소로나 쇼기.
Okay, now is the supplication and the soliciting the blessings, and for that we visualize the our guru essence is guru, and the appearance is the Mama Sambhava on our crown, and then we are supplicating for the sake of the his blessings. So in order to be able to do the practice of four mind changings, and then be able to gain the practice of the correct path, and yes, and for that we fervently supplicate. Yeah.
Balden Zave Lama Rembo Dagi Joran Bemen de Lash Garden Chemben Gone Jezon de Gozon Doji Saldo Zon de Zum Zanje Dam Ngo Lama Rembo Jeje Dagi Ju Minjen Julwara Jenje Lamdo Samlam Je Doba Je Bara Jen Jula Je Vara Jenje Lamdo Sedenye La Waza Zobaj Lamjo Darje Bara Jenje Lamdo Zun Sanje Damji Lama Rembo Jeje Dagi Ju Minjen Julwara Jenje Lamdo Samlam Je Doba Je Bara Je Jula Je Vara Jenje Lamdo Sedenye La Waza Zobaj Lamjo Darje Bara Jenje Lamdo Zun Sanje Damji Jengu Lama Rembo Jeje Dagi Ju Minjen Julwara Jenje Lamdo Samlam Je Doba Je Bara Je Jula Je Vara Jenje Lamdo Sedenye La Waza Zobaj Lamjo Darje Bara Jenje Lamdo Zowa Devzo Lama Rembo Tungwe Budu Jenje Juje Kalmen Dala Reza Jule Tuye Yermen Je Bara Jenje Lo Yema Dagi Juden Gane Jan Daljuro Din Chindo Nye Baranga Tune Jizon Nizon Chila Kewan Jube Longa Majon Renjen Lingne Donlo Wanyendo Kalde Juje Bemba Madu Chine Milu Nye Baraka La Juru Tada Debi Kurgo Arabji Ledre Milu Tembe Ngöndro Tongal Sume Sebe Njazu Korean Sebe Nyomo Nyingze Jalwa Namje Lenge Dalaze Lenye Dangze Kando Damje Damze Banglan Chemin Dadoze Chola Chobe Tuni Niyo Longmen De La Lelo Nyingwang Tangwe Nyingme Tani Nyingre Keman Jivu De Lengen De Kosum Dishin Danyum Lama Ye Nam Namji Tudre Kando Namji Kaye Chebang Dewe Tani Minyal Yalan Chungse Chejang Sonam Chewele Kewe Chawa Taldo Jolandu Laso Ningaranzo Ngöndro Komgobe Jimzenzo De Dharmagyan Tamchi Jimben Gobang Tobe Chude Yimbare Da Dende Dharmagyan Tamchi Jimben Gobang Tobe Yo Bayina Koru Chö La Lolo Bajigda Nyangen Lende Bala Choa Jeba Jiko Yore Hidi Kangne Chö Shemba Samba Rimbe Rimbe Drugo Bayindu Da Korwa La Lo Doya Da Nyangen La Choa Je Dinzo Trede La Ngöndro Chö Sege Yobare Chö Ngöndro Meba Yina Ngöshi nyamne pöita bochi yongtoku yu mare. Jesa tambo nga zo Ngöndro nyamne jegi yu bayin.
So, the preliminary practice, the reason why we are doing the preliminary practice is, fundamentally for the purpose of liberation and the omniscience. And in this process, we have to be able to kind of reverse our mind against it, the samsara, be able to reverse our mind. And at the same time, give rise to some delight for renunciations. And therefore, and then this practice is basically the four mind changings, right? And this four mind changing is the main practice of the preliminary practice. And without a proper preliminary practice, then the main practice won't go well. So therefore, the preliminary practice is important.
Da Ngöndro che dela ya tumongchi Ngöndro da tumin nangi Ngöndro che nyam zo lang ja rimo mongbo yo ba le tanda nga zo tumongchi Ngöndro de nyam zo lang shin ba yin ba re dela da zo lo do namba shi yo ba le da tanda nga zo shi ba koru nyemik de samlo tang shin ba yin.
So then, as for the preliminary practice, there are two: common preliminary practice and the uncommon preliminary practice. And within this, we are doing the common preliminary practice. And as for the common preliminary practice, then it's the practice of the four mind changing. Within this, we are doing the practice of the samsaric experience.
Ninda kori nyeme din ngazo korwachi nungal jibola yang samlo dang saware ta danda chedak samlo dang shima yindu chedak de lan roa rik do yubi nane nyawi nungal de samlo dang shima re dina nada sanyal tanyal nyesa nyegor dine yubi nane ta sanyal kele peche shudumne da danda tama de ngazo samlo dang yin diring.
So then, as for these defects of the samsara, and they are generally the general defects as well as the specific defects of the samsara. And within these, we have already talked about the general defects, and then we are now at the point of talking about specific defects. Within these, we have already talked about the samsaric experience of hell beings, such as the hot hells and the ephemeral hells and the neighboring hells, so forth. And among those, we have talked about the experience of the 8 hot hells, and the experience of the eight hot hells are also mostly covered. We are at the stage of talking about the defects or the experience of this hot hell.
Nindana tama nyawa narmi bi tungal de samudang ba yindu ni narmi je saji de sanyal ngaman den zo najin je ne ne chagje sai rangshin ri dang longba da tha den zo kangbo sai rangshin chagje rangshin ne member de yo ba ni tenis kazo nyawa la negen semjin den zo yang ne lui dang me yerme roje je ne no subu kangbo member de yo ba 다 도스타 용도 메카린 수부칸이 히라 함베고 보소로지 수부다 메 닌치바로제 차도 바데네 동알용도 그래 다디 동알도 용용도 검시 차로다 장마대베 되네 그래서 대하여 말에 레지 돕지 가도 있나야 동알 하장 쇼좀 용도 그래 대마제 냐왕 야게 강력의 양수 탱나라서 봐 Kongma tunji dongal denzo tsangma yang tela nyongo go yore. Ani tarong di kang la ani karasa wore. Ka nang la hinje leken denzo di ani chocho kolma denzo loya rao dang. Ani chaki tolum denzo dang towa dang denzo di tongde che la soba. Tende yang dongal nyongo go yore bare la. Ani kaab la mechung zay chung rindu nawa shar rindu choy rindu rindu ji lo do shar yungu yore. Ina choy tube kaya yo mare shinje leken denzo di ani sim che ani yang tongde tsemen dende dang. O dine dongal te nyongwa ji. Ta sozo di diro dongal nyong te yu dine samdang ro nang kyoksan.
So then the last one, the unbearable, the hell in Tibetan Narme, and the hell is similar to the previous hell. The entire realm is covered by the hot iron, the mountains, valleys, and the rivers, and everything. Entire realm is covered by the hot hells, the burning hot iron. Sorry. And then the beings are living in these burning hot realms, and and our bodies, the beings in that realm, including ourselves, is always burning, and we there's kind of inseparability between the fires and our bodies. We are kind of on the fire all the times, and then the experience and the suffering is extremely unbearable, and we won't be able to won't be able to familiarize this suffering. Its suffering is always unbearable. And the earlier hell beings suffering hell, such as Yangtze hell and the Tingnak hell, so forth, their experience are also kind of experience in this realm as well. The other hells, such as the in which you poured in your mouth the burning irons, and your bodies are chopped into many pieces, so forth. All these are experienced in this realm as well. And then sometimes when the fire, kind of become little less intense, we, the beings might want to escape, but at the same time, the beings won't be able to escape. That's the kind of the nature of these realms. It's unescapable. And so now please take a few minutes and imagine that we ourselves are in these realms, and experiencing all these sufferings like that in this way. Yeah.
So ni ta ni do we nyawa de la narme la go ba de ne kamzong korwa nang la tungal dile ne cheru nyongju meba yinza ne narme ba ne dile lhag tu tungal nyongju meba yinza narme la bo yore na tungal ji tuzo de yang ne parje kalba chege ring la mai ba je pargal chige ring de la tungal nyonggo go yore nga zo dende je da tungal go la samlo tangwa da sozo de ga la je samlo tangwa sam je kang ga hyu yung go yore ngo so dan dendel ene tungal nyongwa na ne kang ga zo yu yore tanda din tungal nyonghe samje mangbo shira yo bare den zo la ningje yang ko mo go yo bare.
So then this is called the unbearable hell. In Tibetan, the word is narme, and this is the most, the suffering hells ever, and there is no other realm beyond this, unbearable hell realms. And the duration in these realm will be about 1 eons. Beings in this realm has to endure, this the unbearable suffering for about 1 eon. And then just imagining this, visualizing these realms, is very saddening and unbearable. Then if we are really in that realms, experiencing it, for ourselves, then how would that be, And at the same time, there are not only, a small number of beings in that realm. There are countless beings in that realms. So, therefore, we have to generate compassion for these beings in these realms. So please, for a few minutes, think it in that way.
Tangyal jeji kola na samlo dai ne tangyal denzo te denzo jidin wen samlo dang wen na sakangbo chagbe rangshin kangri rangshin na hajang ge tangar chumbe yogen ta dana nga zo myul yobe tangar denzo ta tangsho chedi dang nyawya tang ta tangyal chen na tosho je chedi so na de yoni jajur bomjur je chawa yo san den sungu yore.
Is about the cold hells, and there are also around 8 cold hell realms, and then in these realms, the scene will be like entire earth is covered by ice or the snows, and then most intense of all will be the hundreds times of this, the general, the scene of the hell realms.
Ani da de tangyal jebo korim de tes mendo khajle myungudo ina da nanga zo gonzalo machalong ge korim shirja jene ne komya indu ni tangbo ne churu chen songo yore that saji de tenji shoba na jara je that hajang thanga shuk che ta yongdu lu ni zo yoni ne tene kaso chubru tonne ne ya bo churu den zo ton ne den zena ta na nak den zo sa den de yone kangen den nyonggo go yore ne thang da ne ene sozo dero dine tangmo shu yo ba ngazo miul ku tangmo shu yo be sa jalla le ba dang tela pirang ma dena ngazo kange gazu nyong do dele da jaju dong ju ji kange chewa yo ba gom go yo la thang thang ne ene sobu ne dine chubur ton thana sa de yo ba o dine ji joza samlo da no na.
For these cold hell realms, there are different categories explained in different texts, but according to this text, my words of my perfect teacher. It starts with the ram chuburjen. In English could be blisterings. So this blistering hell is the experience. Of course, then very cold. Entire the realm is covered by earth, and because of the extreme coldness, then the beings are suffering from bleedings, as well as oozing out the pus, so forth, and it's very very cold. So the experience is generally, for normal people, it's unbearable. So now please take a few minutes to contemplate this the point.
나서 단데 타원냐와 데 ane 동al 이 윤릉로 세세 가서 버도 연거래서 라바이나 네 자가지 율 망가다 거랑 손낭 모두들라 네 대당 줄라서 버 세자지체 디테 니슈 네 강샤버지 송바 전부 내내지 나라 딜 강샤버지 로자레레 라딜 레우레레레 ton난 다 가지고 그래. 된대 적삼직데 아니 다냐와 장년은 다 강조 나 주로 젠서로와 대체세지 인선되는 송고요래 된대 버도 동안 연구고요래 대로 섬진데 동안에 닝제내래 되려라 소소될 때나양 다라니 예랑라 닝지 제거버제라 도와서
Okay, then the suffering experience in this room, the duration will be like in Magadha in ancient India. The measuring the rice and flour, so forth, they had this specific container called the measuring container. It's a huge containers. And then if that container is filled with sesame seed, and that amount of the sesame seed is taking out one by one from that huge containers, how long would that take? It will take a very long time, right? Not only a month or years, it will take a very very long time, right? So that will be the kind of durations of the experience in this blistering hell. So now please take a few minutes to contemplate in this way.
닌데 제라 주로 돌아왔대 던진 나신 임발라 아니 수볼라 예베 주부르던 봐 돌아서 돌내되네 추서든 좀 마사 아니 가르서 그래 짜기 남아 요건스네 semje simbo 보는 줄 딘조되네 타던 좀 팔아지 집 줄어지 아니 이공비 어딘데 얘는 동안 영어지 남아지 공부고 요래 어딘데 교수는 삼노당로나 아니 살에 다디도 semjen데 세제데 된지지 세제래는 유니슈 제어 동안 연구고 요래
Okay, then in this realm, the blistering or the frostbite, hell realms, and the beings are beings suffered from the extreme cold, and then this frost or the blisters are kind of always bleedings, and as well as the pus are coming out, and then they are festered, and the ones are coming around to eat or lick the blood, and the pus so forth, and then the suffering is very, very unbearable, tremendous, and so the durations of this in this realm will be 20 times of the previous one, the previous the cold hell.
So de jala so thamba se yore ne ngoma na jen dongal den zo de ye khare de yebe kan la de tang tang ne no so bo lo ke an thwe manu ke thwe manu ba ma se ne so den zo ma ta ngo zo tang mo cha de so den zo da byang do sak ho de so thamba se yore den de ju dongal da ne nyong wa de yang se de den jin ni ba de le dan da so ba de yang ni jur ni shu ye dongal che wa nyong go yore ne so so de dongal nyong wa ne chu sa sam la dang de ro dongal ngo zo nyong gen sam jen de la nying je chu ng gom na shu gi.
So the next, the cold hell is called Sotamba in Tibetan, means biting teeth, probably. And for this, for these beings, experience is very tremendous, and they can't even make any sound from their mouth. It's very, very cold, and then their teeth from the cold experience, and they always, kind of, dancing with their teeth, like when we generally feel very cold, our, the two jaws are always kind of hitting each other, right? Just like that. So then we are unable to make any sound. And then duration in these realms will be 20 times of the previous one. And so now please take a few minutes to contemplate this, the whole realm in this way. And at the same time, generate compassion for other beings.
나서 되는데 제가 아주 서러워 쓰기요래 아니 다대한 사시나 동안 용단도 시제가 제장이 말라 엄마엄마지 동안 엄마엄마라 여바대 다냠래 대강을 타고 류강부 착배랑신 재난강부는 차네 대강을 샘제 샘부도 나눠줘 이공 돌팔술로 여바 제바 제장강라 근데 당다 전에는 카나라와 매바주 아주서가냐네 다디 통용거래 근데 동알대는 세제 된지 휴조조 숨바 텔레장 아니 된지 소담 바로 딜량 줄니슈제 체외네 로세되는 용고거래 근데 동알은 소조 유노분들 용고 삼로당으로 당아서 삼로당 와섬지장 삼롱네 강에 좀 보여줘도 그래서 동알료는 가서 유주래 용계 삼진도는 닝제 공당 자반에 교수공으로 나오시고요.
So then next hell, called hell, is in Tibetan Achu Serwa, probably calling out with the sound of feeling cold. Burr, maybe. Calling out with the burr. And then in this realm, the experience is very cold. Entire body is, feeling like an ice box. And from inside and outside, it's always very, extremely cold. And then the insects are kind of attacking from all sides. And, so they're kind of, making cuts and cutting the wounds, eating the wounds and so forth. And then the duration of the experience in this realm will be 20 times longer than the previous, the teeth biting hell. And then as we are imagining these realms, the suffering is tremendous. But then if we are really experiencing it for ourselves, then how would that be, right? So at the same time of, visualizing those realms, please generate compassion for those beings who are in the realms. So please take a few minutes and contemplate on this realm.
나서 되는 데절라 기후 서와스게 요래 기후 서와다 대한테네 된진나신 진짜 사체다 동안용다 신라와 임발라 네 장마데 땅다 장와대한 귤 nga마 된줄래 치마치마 귤 아장 채와 네 요래 송거 요래 가시지다 배자 가시 송나라 되나 로양 귤 니슈니 여바 나신제네 동알 체중량 귤니 준니 슈크자원 용그래 된데서 그래 다 동알 넘버디 과 장다초 용도 아니 기후서 근세 등한다 아주 수서근데 이제 잠마세 기후다 오게릉보 돈네 네 아주 선게 휴중모야 돈 많이 봐제 그 중중 오릉보 로진의 기후선 되네네 다잠마도 싫어 된다고요 말에 류고줘야 대장 잡토고요 말에 아니 되네 동알되네 된지 아주 서로 텔레장 아니 단 유르니슈 저 동al 된데 로마모 뇽고 요로와 된데 동al 뇽송 소소진 교수 삼라다 한대로 동al 뇽가 삼지 현된도라야는 닝자다 라니대로 동al 뇽지 규 레다 뇽모도 제바이는 데라 죄샤 어데네 제고고 요래 아니 데네 쪽스 아니 데네 강로 삼로노노.
Okay, next is then the helpings of helping called Kihui in Tibetan, and in English will be kind of crying out with the sound of Kihui. And so this realm is the basic structures or the experience of this. The realm is similar to the previous one. But the intensity of the experience is much stronger than the previous ones. Compared to the previous one, the later ones so much stronger. And it's just like the durations, and the durations of previous ones are much shorter, and then later ones are do gradually longer. Just like that, the experience are also, they compared to the earlier ones, and these, the later ones are much more intense, and so the name, the Kihui, it's the sound of not being able to bear the cold, right? So then, therefore, they are shouting or crying with the sufferings. In this realm, the sound is kind of very mild and not very loud, and due to the intensities of the coldness. And but at the same time, it's taking a long breath while it's crying out with that kihui sound. It's taking a long breath, so it's kind of kihui, crying out, with that sound. And then the the durations in this realm will be 20 times longer than the previous one. And so for so the just contemplating on this in sufferings, it will be very painful and sad. So then it's good to generate compassion for those who are experiencing these the sufferings in that realm directly. So please now do that, contemplate and generate compassions.
So tenen de jala ubal dar ke ba se de re tian da ko tang da chon yong de za na ni so bu jun do sang ma yur chi pa ba de za ma ngom ba cha ba za ma za pa so bu de za pa ke ne tum bo hi la no pa nge ke jun nang de la ni ten ji ngon de ju ma na ji ne ni sim bo dang bu ri da men da cha yin nam ba do dang ni chu de be nu ba yong de za pa ju chu ju and then so je tag nang na dong ji di dong me so ju ma nyong wa den de chi ge yore da ko nga zo mi je de na dang ba shu yu na tang da ju ne jo bu xi zhu yore then Yawa Samjin to legend of the Koranji says the Manzobodu, she can be bare. Tianta Tenjingaman de Le Jur Nishu says the ring watch in the Dako Tungal in the Yong de Gure. Tiro Tunga running Yong Song, some of them, Yen Yongan Lane, Ningja Dang, anything di Jud in Zolani, Kazagore. Then Joba Yoba, then the Jayang, no Josomronang.
Okay, then next one is called the Ubeltarkepa in Tibetan. In English will be like probably cracking like a ubel. And then in this room, the experience is just very, very extreme. And then the colors of our bodies are changing. And it's becoming, very blue. And then the entire body is cracking into many, many pieces, Therefore, it's cracking like a ubel, right? And as it cracks, then the wounds come around and ease all this festering bloods and pus, and then we get to suffer tremendously, right? And the entire scene is very unpleasant, and we are attacked by these insects for the bloods and the pus. And so it's very, very painful. Then the duration in this room will be again 20 times longer than the previous one. And so then just visualizing this scene will be kind of very painful. And then those actual beings in that room, how much sufferings they are enduring. So we can think about it, and at the same time we can kind of generate compassion for those beings, and as well as their regret for our misdeeds at the same time. So please now do that.
Dejala Pemadar Kebas Gure Dedene Tamashu by Indu and Chi Baba Nungo Chabas Maza Nangi and Shadang Nanglodin the Lugi Nansama Marbamayang than a chap Tepa Gajung Duzana Tumbo Shizam was a Tumbo Chela Palang Ke any chooser now Simbo Dunzo Tungal Trigger by then Dodo Redere. And it says that the woman Leone, you need to check with Dungal. What are the nature of Dungal Yova and Shambadon's attention on change and some of them then it shoots some of them.
Okay, next one is the ram, which is called cracking like lotus, or Pematar Kepa. And this experience is similar to the previous one, that our entire body is changing color, from inside and outside, and completely becoming blue. And then in this room specifically, not only outside, the inside, the flesh and the organs are also kind of transforming. changings due to the intensity of the coldness. And then we are cracking our bodies not only into several pieces, 4 pieces, but into many pieces, like 8 pieces, you know. And then duration in this realm will be 20 times longer than the previous ones. And so in general, the entire experience of this realm will be similar to the previous ones. Intense cold, entire body is cracking. And so now please take a few minutes to contemplate this realm in similar fashions.
Lazo teni de chala pema champo dar keba sagere ana tadi tungal ngal le semje sorwa nyongay de nishu chewa mado ana tungal nyongda de shi daw yinbare ina da subo de tangda cho yongdu subo kaidan de teni rinba chudu kaidan ana tumbo sumje sonni kaya la soba ta teni je kaya de nga le maa kaya nuku yore ane semjen da sembo tenzo nga le maa yungu yore tungal de teni nga le jang ngoma de le ane gyuru nishu chewa yobba na lo se yang gyuru nishu maa yungu ba ma do ane shin shi dawo do yinpa re teni tungal de sozo yung rungbo teni pardo ne nyongwa chik samlo che tang ane semla kanga shu yungu yore na ane tero ngo su tungal yungu tenzo kaso ji tungal yungu yore aka nyingre che nyama nyingche chosa ne kumro na shu yin.
Again, next round is called Cracking of the Great Lotus, Pema Champo Geba in Tibetan. And then, the experience is same as the previous one. But in this, realm, the intensity of the coldness and the suffering will be 20 times more stronger than the previous one. And also the, crackings of our body will be into 16 pieces or even 32 pieces, so forth. So our bodies will be because of the intense coldness, our body will crack into those pieces. And then the durations of this realm will be 20 times longer than the previous one, so very, very long in a way. So just contemplating the experiences this realm is very sad and bearable. Then if we are in that realm, how would we feel, right? And so now please take a few minutes to contemplate on these realms, and at the same time generate compassion for those who are in that realms and taking all this suffering right now.
so Tini Ngöndro je benja jodine nyamdo songro nang.
In chanting the rest of the Ngöndro text,
Jaya rolba jembe jilguru tejen sanga jebe gewa na tezum zang kezo kundum de lame jangjo nying ngowara ji zonam de ye da ye ju chenang zangwe barje gunshi rimni lamje jeba darje ne bema jar Goma nyurdo jo zadyo lame je lam yedam kandro ludan jebje chonyon zome barje guza chodun godro taje jo mawo mazrangoro me mazede o ameje de le jembe yejen ewa zanyo men kaye name sonjo wambe jo darangona ranjen jo be jenjo be ma cheni ngo zomja zeren de le lo nyam nango chalme ganjem rema zembe bawo danges Chöze lo de doje lo garanjur devende me gombo da ye ningjendere jana bemon lozum gonde jeme do dens kandor dro be zenjo de lazo zenango ye nam Talemben jodron trawa jemben duzand Tajen kanyam jen jazo Sedembe madado jewarajo Deare zenam je zenlamla Tenen ko da ye jen jazo Soje la men ko ban yurdo Raje de ne lunge rubarajo de meje da irme be manjo rananta be zando barej nare yere me manju nyume de ne nam da jin Devarajo gando jebe dewa damje Tore yönden dönden domara Dema dağdo çödan çekürüne Soljen cübera vayıp Çödon nene nimbu döndüğünde Sedre sebe cazuan kal Seban dambe çöram döncece Çeben cübla cüngala be Labjen şendün çöre me bay Tamje jamje sanje do barajo Nazol tamje la toje shugi en ko zon toja na to na jama jayong
I thank all of you for coming to this class, and please take good care of yourself. We will see each other next week.